Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I now move that the gentleman from the 2nd District of Surigao del Norte, the Honorable Robert S. Barbers, be recognized to avail of the privileged hour. I so move, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Robert A. Barbers is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Before I start, I did not get what the presiding Madam Speaker has stated. Did she mean adorable or did she mean honorable?
Honorable A. Barbers.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sorry, I have a little problem with my hearing. Mr. Speaker, I rise today on a question of personal and collective privilege on an issue that is before us today. At the onset, let me be clear that I am not against the policy per se, but would like to stress that in the implementation of this new policy, there were questions raised more than answers. It is the subject of the no contact apprehension policy, or what they call the NCAP. To some, it is called the new corruption against the people. Pre-pandemic studies, Madam Speaker, by the World Bank and other international agencies estimate the economic losses by up to 3 billion pesos daily due solely to traffic problems. To address this, the MMDA and the various LGUs experimented with different methods and schemes, including the NCAP, or the No Contact Apprehension Policy. While the objective is laudable, Madam Speaker, the NCAP implementation gave rise to more questions than answers. It took a life of its own and became a problem by itself, an additional burden and a source of corruption institutionalized by the state. To cite a few of the salient features of the NCAP, MMDA and LGU initiated this policy. Quezon City, Manila, Valenzuela, Parañaque. MMDA issues notices or citations and mailed them to the vehicle registered owners. And MMDA or the LGU contracted it with a private technology service provider. There's a coordination between the LGUs with the LTO and the MMDA. For instance, of notices of violations and non-registration of vehicles. The latest update, just this morning, the LTO chief issued notices to LGUs to suspend until a full study is conducted. Now, Madam Speaker, the questions that were raised in the implementation of this policy is that what agency is in charge of traffic rules and regulations in the entire NCR? Is it the MMDA or each and every LGU? Next question, why is it that some notices or citations are mailed to the registered owners by the MMDA on its letterhead with logo and citing MMDA Resolution number 16-01 series of 2016? In fact, I have here a copy of a sample of a citation with a photo of the alleged violation. Is it therefore possible that one vehicle owner will be cited for one violation by two entities, MMDA or the LGU? In the past, there's the so-called unified ticketing system so that there will be a uniform violation citation tickets. What has become of it, Madam Speaker? Who collects the fines under the NCAP or the NCAP? How are the collections distributed or divided? How much did the LGUs or the MMDA spend for the technology or the service? Did it undergo the proper procedure of bidding? How are the contractors paid and how much? Are there enough street, road signs and warnings for all motorists, the visitors and the tourists? During heavy rains and nighttime, can the cameras clearly capture the alleged violators' plate number? During floodings or other natural calamities, is the NCAP suspended? What happens if the alleged vehicle violating the traffic rules is traced to a government agency like the Office of the President, Office of the Senate President, Office of the House Speaker, or the members of the Supreme Court, or members of the judiciary, or the ombudsman for that matter? Are citations likewise issued? To whom? And who is made to pay the fines? Is the NCAP constitutional considering the following concerns? Amount of fines and penalties vis-a-vis the infraction. Section 19, Article 3 of the Constitution states that excessive fines shall not be imposed, nor cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment be inflicted. In this case, you're just given a citation ticket with an amount as stated therein. Or penalties imposed on vehicle owner instead of the one who committed the infraction. Basic human rights to be presumed innocent is clearly stated likewise in our Constitution. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The question, Madam Speaker, is that was there due process in this citation? The additional penalty of non-renewal of registration of vehicles, even if the vehicle has complete legal documents needed for registration. To date, there is no law, ordinance, or regulation prohibiting vehicle registration due to non-payment of fines for traffic violators. Again, if this is followed or is implemented, is clearly a violation of Section 1 and Section 19 of our Constitution. The absence of due process, Madam Speaker, before collection of fine and penalty is clearly stated as well, under pain of additional penalty upon failure to settle within 7 days or failure to contest within 7 days the amounts to a waiver. Meaning, pagbabayarin ka pa rin, and within 7 days, if you did not contest, you will have to go to the quote-unquote bayad center and pay the fines imposed. So, again, Madam Speaker, these are questions that were raised. In fact, this has become a hot issue today because I'm sure one or maybe a couple of the members have become victim of this NCAP trap, so to speak. So with these questions, Madam Speaker, I ask that the leadership initiate actions to immediately effect the suspension of this NCAP until we have answered the questions to the satisfaction of the public. So, Madam Speaker, I hope that the leadership will take action and immediately effect the suspension of this no-contact apprehension policy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.